Hello, Wonderhussy here, hiking through the deep, dark, mysterious forest on the far northern California, southern Oregon border, which is Bigfoot country. Okay, I just hiked out to what they said was a Bigfoot trap, and you can watch that video if you haven't already. But now I'm gonna get back in my car and drive even deeper into these woods and check out some more Bigfoot tourism. That's right. I guess maybe historically they did a lot of logging in this area, and well, whether it's because of endangered species or changing needs or what, they don't really do much logging up here anymore, at least not as much as they used to. And so now it seems like tourism is kind of their jam. And apparently there's a lot of Bigfoot tourism. So I'm gonna get back in my car and head south, deeper into the woods, toward what might be considered Bigfoot Ground Zero. Okay, we're here at Bigfoot Ground Zero, or you might call it Bigfoot Mecca, and that is the little town of Happy Camp, California. That's right, I shot my last video at the Bigfoot Trap up in Oregon, just across the border, but now we're down in California, which looks pretty much the same as Oregon, except for the fact that it's real smoky down here because there's a forest fire not too far away. And there's also a giant statue of Bigfoot. Or, excuse me, I was once admonished that the term Bigfoot is offensive and that I should call them Sasquatch. So I'm going to try to remember to only refer to this creature as Sasquatch for the remainder of this video. Anyway, this little town, Happy Camp, their economy is probably, in large part, all about Bigfoot. And they have this awesome giant Bigfoot statue that I think is made out of old mining parts, bits and bobs, wreckage. I guess this town started out as a mining town. As a matter of fact, I think it's called a Happy Camp because some miner whose last name was Camp found gold here, and he was so happy. In fact, he said it was the happiest day of his life, and so they called the place Happy Camp. And there's been Sasquatch sightings here ever since the 1860s, okay? There was a bunch of guys up here working a gold claim back in the 1860s, and they had these Chinese guys working for them, carrying buckets of lime or something, and they had to go to a creek to get water, and well, they saw what was, I guess, a Sasquatch, and it freaked them out so bad that they refused to ever go back to that creek. And that was back in 1860. Since then, there have been numerous other sightings of Sasquatch in this area. Most notable of which is the 1967 Patterson-Gimlin tape. Okay, if you know anything about Bigfoot lore, and well, I've learned quite a bit about Bigfoot lore in the course of making this video, and I made a video about 5 years ago up in another part of this part of the country. Anyway, the Patterson-Gimlin video is one of the most, if not the most, iconic Bigfoot sightings ever captured on film. Okay, it was these two guys up in the woods in 1967, and one of them, Patterson, was a renowned, or maybe notorious Bigfoot hunter, and he rope-a-doped his friend Gimlin to come with him, and they were going to try to get some footage of Bigfoot. And I'm calling him Bigfoot because, well, that's what they called him. That was the terminology of the day, okay? Don't sue me. Anyway, they went up there looking for Bigfoot, and wouldn't you know it, they saw one, and they got it on film, implausibly enough, on their very first try. And it's, even if you don't know anything about Bigfoot, you've probably seen this footage or the image captured from it. It looks like a, well, frankly, it looks like somebody wearing a gorilla costume or a Chewbacca costume with breasts. Okay, it was a lady Bigfoot walking, and then there's this one iconic moment in the tape where she kind of turns and looks over her shoulder, and any Bigfoot souvenir you see in any Bigfoot souvenir shop is almost certainly based on that frame of that video, which I'm pretty sure has been thoroughly discredited. Some guy who ran a costume shop came out in the, I think, 1980s and said, oh yeah, I sold him a gorilla costume and he asked me how he could make the shoulders bigger and the arms longer. But anyway, Patterson died, I think, 5 years after the video was shot, or the film was shot. So we'll never get any answers from him. And Gimlin really didn't say anything about it for years and years and years. For decades, he kept mum. And I guess people think that he really didn't know anything about it. If anything, Patterson maybe duped him. But Gimlin finally came out in, I think, 2005. He started going around to Bigfoot conventions and talking about his experience. And so he still thinks to this day that what he saw was really a Sasquatch. You know, costume shopper, no. Anyway, all of that happened right down the road here. This is California Highway 96, and it's actually officially known as the Bigfoot Highway. That's right, believe it or not, there's so much Bigfoot related or Sasquatch related tourism up here that they renamed this entire stretch of highway, which I'm about to go down, the Bigfoot Highway. Anyway, I would love nothing more than to poke around the town of Happy Camp. Come to find out, I just missed the Bigfoot Days Festival. Okay, I think they have a Bigfoot Days Festival every July, second weekend of July, so I missed it by 2 dang weeks. I'm definitely gonna have to come back up here and check that out. But the reason I can't really hang out here now is, well, I actually booked a room at the Bigfoot Motel in a town called Willow Creek, and it's about 2 hours down the road. And it's already 5 o'clock, 5:30 even, almost 6. And so I really don't want to be driving down the Bigfoot Highway in the dark. You know what I mean? So unfortunately, I'm gonna have to get back in my car and keep on rolling down the Bigfoot Highway through the dark and mysterious forest full of God only knows how many Bigfoots, Sasquatches, to get to my place before it gets dark. Okay, man, if I had more time, I would totally drive all the way to the end of this windy road, which it's even warning you that there's steep grades, single lane, RV and trailers not recommended, because this is the way to the actual site of that Patterson-Gimlin Bigfoot sighting. I don't know how you feel about the Patterson-Gimlin video. Me personally, I do tend to think that it was a hoax, but I'd still love to go to the site where it was allegedly filmed. And golly, there's probably some kind of little Bigfoot memorial out there, but Google Maps said it's going to take another hour to get out there. And well, like I said, I really don't want to be driving on the Bigfoot Scenic Byway after dark. Man, this would be epic on a motorcycle. Keep that in mind, Bigfoot loving bikers. Oh wow, a school way out here. Golly. I wonder what their mascot is. Oh my god, you guys, I think I actually see Bigfoot. And apparently he needs a belt. Okay, I'm here in the town of Willow Creek, and apparently this is the place to go for Bigfoot shtick. It blows Happy Camp out of the water. I mean, not to disparage Happy Camp, but this place has a Bigfoot Museum, which unfortunately I got here too late to go inside, but I am spending the night at the Bigfoot Motel. So maybe I'll check it out in the morning. Anyway, this is one of those little towns where they really lean into their shtick. I mean, you can see over here, we have the Bigfoot Cannabis Company. And then over here, we have the Bigfoot Steakhouse. Golly, I have to wonder, are those Bigfoot mistakes? I certainly hope not. No big feet were harmed in the making of this video. Look, there's even a big Bigfoot statue at the gas station. I told you, they really lean into it here. Okay, let me find where I'm staying. Ah, here we go. The Bigfoot Motel. I'm sure this will be an awesome accommodation. Checked in, I got my key. I'm in room number 1, which I guess is a good sign. It's right here. Oh look, I get Bigfoot signs on my door, but let's see how the room is. Ta-da! Bling! Pretty much as expected, I guess. I mean, I stay in a lot of cheap motels, so some of you watching this might go, oh god, that's so depressing, but hey, this isn't bad. I mean, the pillow presentation is a little odd. Got some pillows, got a comfy bed. I've got a microwave. The air conditioner is blowing nice and cool. I've got another Bigfoot sign in the bathroom. I think this will be just fine. Okay, before I check out of this room, a few notes. Okay, I paid, I think, $90 for this room, and it was fine. You know, the bed was comfortable enough, the air conditioning blew cold, but there were a few things that I noticed. First of all, there was no bath mat, so I had to use the hand towel. Not the end of the world, but what could have been the end of the world is there's no smoke alarm in here. There's no light fixture either, just a bare bulb. But yeah, I don't know, aren't motels and hotels required by law to have a smoke alarm, smoke detector? There is none anywhere in this room. The other thing I noticed that I thought was kind of weird is I was laying in bed last night looking at the door and how they put those Bigfoot decorations up, which this is a pretty bare bones room. There's not a lot of decorations. I mean, there's this one Bigfoot crossing here in the bathroom, which is just sort of thumbtacked up on the wall, but hey, he's holding a rose, that's nice. But you know what I mean, it's not like a very heavily Bigfoot themed room. And I thought, why are these signs, they're in a weird place. You know, if you're gonna hang up Bigfoot signs, wouldn't you put them in the middle of the door? And then I also noticed that they're in the same place on the outside, so my assumption is that they're hiding some kind of damage to this door. You know, like, what happened? Did somebody try to kick this door in and there's like holes blasted in it? And I kind of tried peeking behind them to see what was going on, but they're screwed on here and I don't have a screw gun with me, so I guess it's just gonna have to remain a mystery. Anyway, all that being said, I guess I would recommend staying here. I mean, it was fine. And if you're really into Bigfoot, well, it is called the Bigfoot Motel, so it kind of seems like the place to stay. Okay, before I leave Willow Creek and the Bigfoot Scenic Byway, there's one more thing I want to do. And no, it's not go buy a big fat Bigfoot blunt at the Bigfoot Cannabis Company. Although, yeah, I kind of would like to do that, but I've got a very busy day ahead of me, so none of that. No, I think my time would be better spent checking out the Bigfoot collection at this local museum. And this really is an impressive Bigfoot carving. I mean, this thing is massive. That's like, what, 2-3 stories tall, carved out of a tree. What does the sign say? Bigfoot tracks. How does the size of your foot compare to this Bigfoot cast? Oh, and then they have a Bigfoot casting down below. Let's measure our foot and see how it compares to Bigfoot's. Oh dear. I've never felt so dainty in all my life. And this is supposedly a real cast from some footprint that this guy actually found out on the river. I mean, if your foot is that big, then, well, I don't think you'd be quite this tall, but whatever made that footprint was pretty big. Okay, let's see if we can go in this museum. Okay, wow, there's a lot of really interesting local history at this museum. But I came here for one particular room. And no, it's not the sexy Indian maiden who actually looks more like she should be dancing at a luau on Waikiki Beach. No, I'm here for the Bigfoot exhibit. I feel like I gotta whisper, it's so quiet in here. Okay, so we got Bigfoot welcoming us in here. Oh, newspaper articles from the old days when people were first finding these Bigfoot tracks in the forest. And here's some of those Bigfoot tracks that were found. Oh, look, that's interesting. It says the term Bigfoot was coined by Andrew Genzoli, columnist for the Humboldt Times, in 1958. Boy, I bet his heirs are bummed that he didn't copyright it, because they'd be making a lot of money to this day. Oh, I guess you can't really copyright nature. Oh, here's a topographic map of the area where a lot of these Bigfoot sightings have been. Basically the whole area that we drove through yesterday. Oh, here's like a recreation of a skull of a Gigantopithecus, which I guess was like a prehistoric ape-like animal that lived in this area. Hey, how about that? What if that's what Bigfoot is? He's just one last lonely Gigantopithecus. After all the rest of his tribe died, somehow he survived. A lot of Bigfoot castings. I guess when you see a footprint in the soil out in the woods, you bring a bag of Quikrete out and dump it in and make a cast. I'm not sure quite how this is done, but boy, there sure are a lot of them. More historical photos and magazines with stories about Bigfoot hunters. Man, look at these guys. Boy, I bet this dude was a ton of fun. Love to sit at the bar and have a few drinks with him. Oh, look at that. Exclusive first photos of California's abominable snowman. Oh, look, here's kind of a interesting historical timeline of the Bigfoot phenomenon. It says the oldest report of a large, hairy, upright walking creature in a North American newspaper was in 1818 in New York. Wow, how about that? A Bigfoot in New York. Well, it sounds like a movie. Bigfoot in New York City. Actually, wasn't that a movie? Wasn't that movie Harry and the Hendersons about a Bigfoot who lived with a suburban family? Oh God, now I'm gonna have to look that movie up. Anyway, it says oldest known West Coast record of a Bigfoot sighting was the 1850s. Oh, San Francisco Bay Area report of Bigfoot in 1870. And then all the way up through 1967, which is when the first known film footage of Bigfoot was captured. And that's the one, the Patterson-Gimlin film, that this still was taken from, which they conveniently have blown up on the wall for us. But you can see what I'm talking about. I mean, almost everybody has seen this image of Bigfoot, but I don't know. According to what I read online, it's probably just a guy in a gorilla costume. I mean, I don't want to offend anybody or any Sasquatches watching this, but supposedly, yeah, he got a gorilla costume and he put football shoulder pads inside it to make the shoulders broader, and then he held sticks in his hands to make the arms seem longer. And that's why when he's walking, it looks kind of awkward, and like the way when he turned over his shoulder. But you know what? I don't see the breasts they were talking about. You know, like what I read online is that supposedly this thing had very prominent breasts. And I feel like this little picture is kind of better resolution, but I don't know. I guess you can kind of sort of see breasts, but they're not quite as prominent as I'd hoped. You know, I was really looking forward to seeing a Bigfoot titty. How come we don't see any Bigfoot titty casts? That's what I want to know. And then we have a very nice collection of, well, we got some Bigfoot art. Look at this. Bigfoot, America's Great Ape, Sasquatch. The incredible story of 7 men who defied death in a primitive wilderness where no man had gone before. Rated G. Boy, there sure are a lot of books that have been published about this over the years. Or how about this? There was a Bigfoot board game. Oh my God, how amazing is that? Cake pan. You could make a Bigfoot track cake. Oh, I don't know if you can tell because of the glare, but it's a Bigfoot comb, a comb shaped like a Bigfoot. Oh look, a Yeti Lego set. That's kind of fun. I guess Yeti is basically Bigfoot. It's like Bigfoot's cousin from Asia, from the snow country. Oh, what's this? It looks like there's a record in here, a disco record. Oh my God, look. Bigfoot by Rick Dees. Boy, I'm gonna have to look that song up. In fact, I'm gonna look that song up as soon as I get out of here. Might end up being my favorite new jam. And then we got some coloring books. Some sheet music for a song called Bigfoot. Okay, there's a terrible glare on this, but this is a list of, I guess, every Bigfoot sighting in this area, and there's, oh my God, there's 141 of them, and they are as recent as the 2000s. I mean, these aren't technically Bigfoot sightings. A lot of them are just people who found Bigfoot tracks, but that's still pretty impressive. And that's why I say, if this many people say they've seen something, well, maybe there is something to it. Okay, that was fun. I don't know that I saw anything that made me any more of a Bigfoot convert, but I will say that I thoroughly enjoyed myself here in Bigfoot country. Anyway, it is way too hot to hang out here much longer. It's supposed to be 107 degrees here today. Oh my God. Poor Bigfoot. He's wearing that fur coat and he can't take it off. Lucky for me, I have a car and the means to get out of here. So I'm gonna drive and find someplace cooler. So stay tuned to find out where I go next.